up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Hello there everyone, and welcome to today's values assembly. I've got the hand sanitizer ready. It can mean only one thing: time to get on with the values. So, for each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our everyday focuses are, and our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that still make the magic happen. Welcome, here I am live from, well, not quite live, but almost live from my kitchen. You haven't seen it in a while, have you? At least since the first lockdown last year. Anyway, I'm in the kitchen for good reason today. But before I get onto that, I wonder if any of you can remember back to one of my assemblies before the holiday, and I asked this question or posed something for us to think about, and it was about whether or not you were very good at looking after your mind as well as your body. And it's still a question that I'm asking today. I wonder, now that you've had a week away from school, what you did to look after your mind as well as your body in that week. I wonder even today what you have done to look after your mind as well as your body. So if you haven't or can't think of something that you've done in today or even in the last week that's made you feel good on the inside, then today is your day. So I wonder what you could do today later on when you've got the time to make yourself feel good. And that, remember, takes care of your mind as well as your body. Now, one of the things that I like to do that takes care of my mind as well as my body is baking. And that does connect us to kind of why we're in my kitchen today. I have got a number of products here, and all of these products have something in common. So I'm going to show you these products, okay? So here we go. What you've got to do when I show them to you is they've all got something in particular in common about them. So have a really close look at the packaging and see if you notice anything. So here's the first one. Some yummy scrummy chocolate. That could be used maybe for some chocolate brownies later. Who could say, maybe. There are some bananas. So here are the bananas. I'm trying to strategically show you the packaging, see if you've spotted anything yet. I have got a cereal bar. I'm not going to cook with that, but something also on the packaging there that you might notice. And some coffee. Lovely coffee and some tea. It's like I've raided my pantry and shown you all the bits and pieces that there are in there. Now, all of those products have something in common. Did you spot it? I'm sure you did. It was this symbol here. Does anyone know what that is? Oh, it's probably too tiny for you to read, but if you don't know, it's actually the fair trade symbol. But I wonder if any of you know what fair trade means. What does it mean if a product is fair trade? So I'm going to give you a moment to pause me if you're at home or at school and have a little think and maybe a quick chat and share some ideas before you come back. Have you all had a chance to think? So fair trade, well, all of these products had those fair trade symbols on. And it was actually established in 1994 as a way of showing customers when they were buying things that that product was a fair trade product. Now, you may or may not know that these next 2 weeks are actually fair trade fortnights. And when we're talking about fortnight, just in case you were wondering, we're talking about a period of 2 weeks and not a video game, just in case you were wondering. So, fair trade, what does that actually mean? Well, it's obviously linked to the word fair, isn't it? So when we think about things being fair, we think about things being right, about making sure that people get what they deserve, that kind of thing. And when we think about trade, then trade is to do with buying and selling things. So if we put those two together, we're thinking about people being treated in the right way and connected to what they might be buying or selling. So it's all to do with buying and selling and being fair to people. Now, I can give you a better definition than that. In fact, fair trade is really a way of buying and selling products that allows the farmers that produce the product. So I guess we're talking about the people that grow the coffee beans for my coffee, the people that grow the tea plants for my tea, and the people that grow the bananas, and the people that grow the cacao beans that make the chocolate. So we're talking about those people. And we're making sure that those products is about those farmers who make those things or produce those things being paid fairly for the products that they produce. And also about them being able to work in a particularly good working environment. So we would consider fair trade to be unfair if the people that were producing some of these items were not paid fairly for the product that they produced, or they were working in conditions that weren't very safe or weren't very healthy. Now, a lot of these products will be produced in countries that we might consider to be developing countries, so not terribly rich countries. And so it seems doubly unfair if in a poorer country we're actually paying people unfairly, potentially, for the work that they do. Because in some parts of the world, if they're not paid fairly for the work that they do, then they can't afford to pay for medicine, maybe clothes, or pay for children to go to school. So all of this and the whole Fair Trade Initiative is about making sure that farmers are paid fairly for the jobs that they do, and that benefits the communities that they are all part of. Now, you and I both know that community is really important to us here at Stukeley Meadows. In fact, I spent a lot of time in assemblies talking about community. So thinking about communities in other parts of the world is really important to us too. Now, how does fair trade and all of these little fair trade symbols and products being fair trade, how does that actually help? How does it help to solve the problem of farmers being paid fairly for the work that they do and for the products that they produce? Well, by buying products with the fair trade symbol on, it can help not only ensure that people are paid fairly, it would also make sure that there's enough money over and above the cost of producing the bananas, for example, or the chocolate, which can then be fed into improving conditions in the communities. So it might be being able to afford to pay to help dig wells for clean water. It might help to pay for bicycles so people can go to work. It might help to set up schools in areas where there aren't schools, for example. And it might also help for farmers to be able to invest more money back into their farm and produce crops in a sustainable way so that they can keep going forward. So there are lots of benefits to us, or you and I, buying fair trade products in shops. Now, did you know that there are over 4,000 different types of fair trade products that you could buy in shops, not just the bananas and the chocolate and the coffee and the tea and things that I have shown you here. But did you know that in some parts of the country, there are towns that have set themselves up as fair trade towns, there are faith groups that have set themselves up as fair trade faith groups, universities and even schools that have signed up to various pledges to do with being fair trade. And at the moment, over 1.5 million farmers across the world have benefited from all that fair trade has achieved for them. Now, fair trade has done, in terms of Fair Trade Fortnight, they have put together a programme for the next 2 weeks, and part of this year's focus, or in fact the main focus for this year, is around climate change, which is obviously very topical and something we have talked about at school often. Now, in terms of young people, they have actually established a particular focus. I'm just trying to show you on my iPad. the logo for that this year. Here it is, very colourful, and it's called Choose the World You Want. So what they have established is a virtual, what they want to establish is a virtual exhibition, and it's for anybody to be part of that would choose to. And what they are wanting you to do is to think about this question: what could you do, or what will be your vision, your idea of a fairer world? So we've talked about things being fair or not fair. What would be your vision for a fairer world? What would you like to see? Now, you can present your ideas either as a film, as a story, as a poem, or even as a piece of artwork. And that can be submitted to the Fair Trade organisation's page. Now, I will post on Twitter that link for those of you that might be interested. So if you think that's something you would like to be part of, then I would put that link on there. Don't forget, you will need to check with a grown-up at home to make sure they're happy for you to take part. But it's a good question, isn't it? What would be our vision for a fairer world? And that's something that even I don't know. What would be my vision for a fairer world? So I'm not sure what I would think about. That's something I would need to spend some time thinking about, and I'm sure that you will too. So I hope that in a very, very brief introduction that I've given you today about fair trade and what that looks like and why it is being set up, that it's something that you might be interested in and something you could look into a little bit more yourself. So my parting challenge, as well as that virtual exhibition that I was telling you about, is about next time you go to some shops with your family, I wonder if you could spot any fair trade symbols on any of those products. I wonder what kind of products you spotted them on and how many you actually found. So I look forward to hearing from you on that subject at some point soon. So that's all from me for this week, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Stevens, as ever. Lots of really interesting knowledge, lots of really interesting information in there, and lots I didn't know. So thank you again, Mrs. Stevens, for your return to values assemblies. Now, hopefully you all heard the good news yesterday that in just under 2 weeks' time, a few days' time, all children are coming back into school. We're going to have a safe Stukeley site. We're going to have a secure Stukeley site. We're going to put a lot of work into getting classrooms ready and corridors ready and playgrounds ready. Everything, we're going to try hard to get it ready. But we're really happy to say that we're going to have over 400 children back in school again very soon. I've already tweeted all of your families. I'm going to be sending a letter to your families too, to say that we've got lots to get ready. We've got lots to check, lots to make extra safe, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon, and we will be answering any questions that you might have very soon indeed. Now, because we're all coming back into school very soon, it is super, 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 massively, 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 incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important that everybody is ready to get back in a school learning routine. Hopefully, lots of you have been doing this at home, and lots of you have been doing it in school, but reading every day, writing your learning log, doing your rock stars or your numbots every day, doing your workbook jobs, watching the school videos and getting stuck into new knowledge, all of that is going to be really hard for you in school if you haven't been doing it for the last few weeks. So if you haven't gotten into that routine, and if you don't feel comfortable about being stuck back in class, learning lots of new things again, now is the time right now to start getting back into that routine. Pick up your book, get writing in your learning log, get doing your learning at home if you haven't been, because we want to see you all smiley, happy in a couple of weeks' time back in school. Okay, shout outs, then we'll move on to the most important 60 seconds. Right, we have a Stukeley birthday, always a celebration when we have a Stukeley birthday. Happy birthday, Otis in year 2. It's your birthday today, Otis. Have a lovely day with your family, and I'll hopefully see you in a couple of weeks. You can tell me all about it. It'd be great. Also, big Stukeley shout out to everybody who's remote learning, who managed to get into their Teams check-in meeting yesterday, and all teachers who managed to get that sorted. We had a couple of little problems yesterday. Hopefully today will be much more positive. Thank you for working hard to get involved in that and make it useful for you for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to hand over to Roman in Foundation to finish off today's shout outs.
A shout out for Mummy for giving me cuddles and kisses. Shout out for Daddy for sleeping all day and night. Shout out for Luca for telling a funny Pokemon joke.
What's the joke?
How do you get Pikachu on the bus?
I don't know.
Pokemon.
The most important 60 seconds are coming up now. The most important 60 seconds are coming up now. Oh yes! Most important 60 seconds, book swaps are still happening this week. Even though we're all back in school soon, book swaps are still happening. So, if you are in Foundation or Year 1, you can come and change your books today between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. If you are in Year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can come and change your books tomorrow. Now, we're going to work out a different time for this because it's at the same time as some Teams meetings. So, haven't got that time yet, but watch the Twitter and I'll tell you what time. Year 1 Foundation Days today, Year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomorrow. I'll give you a time for that coming very soon. Come and change books, part of your daily exercise. Keep going with your learning routines. It's going to be great.